Hello friends, this is Sanjeev, and today we are going to make a RTV mold. And let me tell you first of all that what is RTV. RTV is a room temperature vulcanizing rubber which is in form of liquid, and for which we require two parts of liquids. One is harder, one is simple rubber liquids. And now you can see this is the second part of liquid RTV, which is called the hardener. And this is the main part of RTV liquid, and we mix both all together in the proportion of 110%. And now let me tell you what are the required materials for making a RTV mold. Here let me tell you that this is a blue resin RPT that we require, and in the intensive especially made by this RTV mold. And the next is this is a castable purple wax or resin that you can say, and this is the wax pattern that you can make in your workshop. It is a simple wax from the waxinator that we can make, and this is the master model made in metal in a pure silver. So you can make all four molds out of the RTV liquids, whatever that you want to make, but the proportion of the liquid has to be the same for that one. The another thing that you have to weigh the liquid rubber proportion properly, and that you have to calculate what kind of percentage that you want to have in the mixing. That I told you that you make 10%, or as per the requirement maybe sometimes 8%. And then we have different molds over here that you can say that it's a mold frame that we will use to sandwich or dip into the frame. And this is the bigger one that we have. This is the smaller one, that is the smallest bit that we can have it to make the requirement. That's simply that we can say that this is the rubber mold, RTV mold out of this one. The condition is that special that you should have at least 5 mm all around gap, whether this side or that side, on the top or on the bottom. And then we have this spatula that you will require to mix the. This is the steel spatula. Better use steel or the plastic or the wooden spatula. Don't use the iron or the metal that may be reacting with the liquid. And this is the transparent container, plastic container to mix properly. And you have this vacuum chamber that you will require to remove the air from the liquid that you will be mixing from the RTV. And we have this vacuum pump that will help you to vacuum or evacuate from the air from this liquid, that will help you make your proper RTV mold. So let me tell you how to start and what to start before making RTV mold. Okay, now we are just removing the frame. So this is the main part that we have, the metal frame that will help you lock the liquids inside it. And this is the screw clamp that we will use to fix the master or the RPT mold that you want to make the mold out of that. So now I'm just going to fix this castable wax pattern, or the master that we can say, into the screw. Right, now this is fixed. Make sure that it has to have all around minimum 5 mm distance, so we can have enough strength into the RTV layer. Now we will just fix it again here. Put the top part again onto the mold. Now just relock it. Tight it more than enough. Now your frame for molding is ready. Let's see inside also. Make sure that you have minimum 5 mm. The master in these frames, you can see that we have fixed this our castable wax model in this frame. Make sure that it should not come out during the vacuum. And this is the middle side frame that we have fixed this RPT blue resin masters over here in this frame. Now this is the biggest one that we have set this at the blue wax, injection wax master model over here. And now we have to calculate the amount of the liquid, rubber liquid, to be poured into these frames. Now let's assume that we may require around 100 gram in this one, and say for 150 grams in this one, and say for around 200 gram in this one. So as I told you, that you make sure that around at least 5 mm all around has to be there, the layer of the RTV liquid, all three ones. So now we have to calculate that. Let's start and just measure the approximate weight of this frames to be filled. Let's say for this small one that we can say 120 gram. For this the middle one we can say 140 gram. And the biggest one that we can say that we require around 160 gram. So let's see how much is there. So 4, 2, 6 and 6 is 12. Now 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we will take approximately 420 grams of liquids total that we require to fill them. So this is part 1, and we will take 10% hardener, means part 2, which will be 10% of the 420 is 42 gram. So total we will have 2, 6 and 4. So this will be the total weight of mixed RTV, which is 462 gram. Yeah, this is part 2. Now we will measure the liquids. Let's put it here and start the machine. Here, this is 707 is the content. Now we will add around 420 gram of liquid. This is the hardener. We'll keep it here. Now we are just going to open it. This is the RTV part 1. This is the major one that we have to weigh. We can see this is the liquid that we are going to weigh. You can see here, this is very smooth and fine. Now we'll start the weighing scale, and it must be 0. So now we have just weighed this RTV part 1, which was supposed to be 420 gram. Now it is almost, it doesn't matter too much. So we will add the part 2. We have this RTV part 2, which is a hardener, and we will add around 10% of it, which we already have calculated, which will comes around 42 grams. So what we can do here, we will just make it 0 again. So now we have to add 42 grams. Now we have to mix it properly. You can see that it has to mix very well. If you will not mix it very well, then it will not solidify, and you will have immature RTV mold, which will not be useful for you. So better just mix it properly. Have a proper spatula to mix it. Use a personal vulcanization. Okay guys, now you have seen that we have mixed the RTV rubber equally, and now we are going to have a vacuum, and this is our vacuum chamber. We have a very good and very strong vacuum. Now this mixed RTV and hardness, we are going to vacuum it properly. Make sure that you have a very good vacuum. This is our vacuum diameter. Here you can see that there is some readings, and we have to reach up to 25 psi. If you don't have 25 psi, that will be difficult. So you can see this. This will be boiling up. See this beautifully, it is coming up, and all the air will get out through the vacuum process. Just have a look on it. Now once this vacuum has happened completely, it will go down, as you can see here. And this vacuum has happened completely, so very well. You can see now there is no air, and still the vacuum is happening over here. So we will leave it here around 1.5 minutes, means 90 seconds around. And then we will start pouring it into the mold frames and release it. It is settled down, and there is no any bubbles inside it. And now we are going to pour into the molds. Make sure that you pour into the frames, molds properly, and you must have at least 5 mm above the top of the master that you have placed into the center. Minimum 5 mm extra from the top of the models, which has been set into the frame. And the other thing that we have to keep in mind, that the frame cavity has to be long enough, because now we will vacuum it again. So during the vacuum process, there is a lot of bubbles happens due to the vacuum process, and it may go out from the frames. So make sure that you should have a deep enough cavity into the frames, so you don't lose the RTV liquids into the vacuum chamber. And make sure that your all the models has to be fixed nicely, otherwise during the vacuum process it may come out and may levitate into the liquid, and you will lose the good mold making process. That will be a bad situation for us. So make sure that you have fixed the masters, the models, resin pieces or metal pieces, or maybe the resin pieces, RTV pieces. We have taken the transparent mold frames, so we can observe all the side that what's. Now we will vacuum them. Now we have to into the vacuum chamber again. And again we will vacuum them, lock it,
and start the vacuum. You have to vacuum it around 3 minutes, so there must not be any air bubbles into the depth of this mold frame. And for this particular process, we must care that we should have a complete vacuum, minimum 25 psi.
Let's see, the bubbles gone out because the vacuum has been released. That you can see this is releasing and going to back to zero. So now we will remove the lid from the chamber and we will take out all 3 frames and we'll keep aside precisely, and we will keep them as per the guidelines or the dataset that we received from the seller where we have purchased this liquid. He advised that we keep around minimum 4 hours at room temperature. Room temperature means around 30 to 45 degrees Celsius. You can see that there is a very good quality of. Okay friends, as you have seen that last time that we have prepared and poured the liquid of RTV here to make this mold, and now after pouring and vacuum process that we have left this frames around for 2 hours to 3 hours, and after 3 hours that the liquid is get solidified completely. You can see here this was the castable wax RPT. Here you can see the purple one. Now we will show you that how to open the frame. This screw, now we just open this. Now we have this complete mold ready in our hand. We will cut that out, extra one. finally that we have this very crystal clear. There is no bubbles, there is no darkness or patchy something here, because we have vacuumed it very well. We will show you that sometimes it can happen that there might be some bubbles and stuck to this body of this wax pattern or the resins, so which will be kind of damage of your mold, and that will not be usable for the purpose. So better you just vacuum your liquid properly. Now we have same other frames. It was a resin one, the blue one, which was not castable, and this last one was the wax one, the thicker one. Here you can see that this mold is very clear. There's no air bubbles or something, foreign particles inside it. It's very crystal clear all around, all sides. And it was vacuumed properly, mixed properly. Now comparing to these two molds, I'll show you the third one. Here you can see that there are a lot of bubbles which should not be there, and it is happening because the vacuum was not done properly here in this frame. Here you can see inside there are a lot of bubbles on the top side, which should not be. So we can say this mold is not usable. So make sure when you are mixing, mix it well, and later on just vacuum this liquid properly, or you will not have a good mold. Like this, we have a very good mold. Clear, very clear, right? So we keep this one aside because this is not usable. So we will be showing the next process of cutting this mold throughout and taking this pattern out, and we will have perfect mold in our hand. For the next process, we will just open this. Okay, friends, that's we have removed our all three molds, RTV molds, from the frames, and now you can see very clearly that we have this castable wax pattern RPT. It's very clear, and this is very good. The second is that we had a blue resin. You can see that this frame, this mold is also very good. Now you see the last one, that by purpose we have made it a bad quality because we haven't done a good kind of vacuum, good kind of mixing of it, and due to improper mixing and vacuum process, you can see there are a lot of bubbles in this mold, and this is not usable. So you people make sure that you make proper mixing and proper vacuum. So guys, you have seen in this video that we have prepared this liquid rubber mold, precisely that how we have mixed the rubber and how we have vacuumed and completed this process. And thank you very much that you have seen this video, and we appreciate your valuable time that you spent to see. Hope that you have got a very good knowledge about this rubber mold making. And in next video that we are going to show you that how to cut these RTV molds and how to get a very good wax patterns by wax injection processes.